At some point in time, you will have new students show up to your class. Well, at least hopefully. And I think it's important to remember that not only do first impressions matter, but also consider the entire timeline of a customer's experience with you. So think about students who have been with you for a long time. So the timeline of experience that they've had with you is long, right? So if something negative happens, like let's say that there's a billing error or something, that becomes just a little blip on a very long line. But a new student, their length of time, their experience with you is not as long. So if there's a billing error or some other blip, that blip becomes a blob because their line is so much shorter. So think about percentage of time with you. So with new students, every little thing, every moment of experience with you, with your organization, in your class, with the scheduling process, with the billing process, everything takes on greater importance because it's a bigger blob rather than just a blip. So when it comes to new students or newer students, every issue, every problem is a bigger deal than with people who've been with you for years. Not to say that it isn't important to take care of problems when you've had students for a long time, but the perspective of the new student, this is how they're seeing you and your organization through this lens of there are all these blob problems rather than little blip problems. So it's really not that the problems with newer students are a bigger deal, but their perception is that it's a bigger deal. And you always have to think about the student's perception. So what can you do about it? Well, walk through the entire experience as a new student. If you had no idea who you were, how your classes run, what's involved, how to schedule, how it gets billed, all of that, approach it with completely fresh eyes. If you knew nothing, does everything make sense? Is everything explained? Now, anyone, when they're new to a situation, everything can seem very overwhelming. I mean, think about when you first learned to drive a car. There was a lot going on, but now you can drive a car, no problem, have a conversation with people in the back seat, eat food, whatever it is. But when you first drive a car, you can't do those extra things. So think about that as your new student. When they come into your class, when they come into your organization as a new student, there's a lot going on. So even though maybe you said something once, doesn't mean that they'll remember it. Is there a way that you can give them something written or keep walking them through the process? Make things really easy for them. Don't make things more difficult. How can you make it a more comfortable experience, a less overwhelming experience, a more welcoming experience? And then do those things. Because when you're a new student, there is a lot going on. It's not just about the class. It's also about all of the processes involved. The scheduling, the billing, the getting to know you as a teacher, you getting to know them as a student. There's a lot going on. Because even if you think all of your business processes make complete sense, they make complete sense to you, not necessarily to your student. So understand that for your student, this may be the first time they've come across processes like yours, even if to you there's no other way you would do it. That's not necessarily how your student sees it. And are you happy that the new student showed up? Do you appreciate them being in your class? Well, then show them, tell them. Otherwise, they won't know.